Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and this is the first in a series of videos where I'm going to build an application using Express and EJS. This first video, what I'm going to do is go over the essential setup, setting up Mongo, and the index route of the RESTful routes. So again, I'm going to build full CRUD, but this app, what it's going to do is going to show you puppies, pictures of puppies that people can like. Okay, that's essentially what this app does. It's puppy photos and the ability to like puppy photos. So, good times. Now, with that, I'm going to start off with this boilerplate here. Okay, so this is basically a nice, already kind of set up project for like Express, EJS with all the middleware all set up. If you want, I recommend, if you don't have this boilerplate, is you could use the boilerplate. I'll put the command and that I'm going to use along with the link to this boilerplate in the video description. You can fork it, make your own copy, modify it to your own liking, depending on how you like to use Express, because that's how Express works. It's unopinionated and moldable and whatnot. One of the things I do love about Express, because some days you just feel like coding this way, and some ways you feel like coding that way. That'll be there, okay? And I want to be using degit to clone the project. Degit's a library that allows you to clone GitHub projects with ease, and without actually having to have like the residual repository left behind. Because usually if you clone a GitHub repo, you're left with a repository on your computer. So just to show you how this works, I'm going to open up a new terminal. So I'm in this folder called Express, where I generate Express projects. So I'm going to generate my new project, npx degit, and then I put in my GitHub username, or you put in the GitHub username depending on the account or the project you want to clone. So it's my repo, so it's alexmercedcoder / expressboilerplate. And then I have to put a hash and then the name of the branch I want to clone. I want to clone the main branch. It defaults to master, so you don't have to put the hash main if you wanted to clone master, but I default to main branches, so that's that. So npx degit alexmercedcoder express boilerplate main, and I want to call this PuppyPower. And then I wait for a second, and see, it cloned it, and see, there's my folder with my clone project, and look, there's the thing. Nice. Now that way I don't get mixed up with all these other folders. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reopen my VS Code, so open folder, and I am going to open the PuppyPower folder. So that way all I see are my PuppyPower files. Okay, cool. Now first thing I want to do, if you're using my boilerplate, is that this .env here, I need to rename it to make it .env. I need to put a port variable, so that way it listens to the port that I want. So I want to listen to port 3000, and I need to make a MongoDB URL variable. Let me just double check that is the case. So right here in this connection.js is all the code for connecting to Mongo, and yep, it's using this MongoDB URL environmental variable. So I want to make sure that I have that in here. Now, if you were using like a mongodb.com URL, it would look something like this. It would be like Mongo server : / and there would be like your username, password, and then it would be like at your host, which is like the URL of the actual like Mongo server, and then it'd be like / database name. That's sort of the pattern of that URL. Now I have a local Mongo server running, so I'm going to use that. So MongoDB // and then I don't need to put a username for that, so localhost. The port for a local Mongo server, if you have one running, is 27017, and we'll just call this the PuppyPower database. PuppyPower. Cool. But again, if you do not have a local Mongo database, you can go to mongodb.com, and then you can get a free MongoDB from there, and then just put the link to it here. But the idea is you do need the Mongo URL for this to work, because this boilerplate kind of assumes that you're going to use Mongo. Okay, cool. So with that, I'm going to open up my terminal. do an npm run dev. Okay, and I got an error, so let's examine what the error is. Oh, I forgot to do an npm install. So what happened here is it's saying it cannot find the module, which is clearly in my package.json. But again, I just cloned it, and node modules is in my gitignore. So I never downloaded node modules because it's not pushed up to GitHub. So I need to install that stuff by doing npm install. There we go. And then I know which scripts my package has because right here in the script section of my package.json are the 3 scripts that I have in this boilerplate. Start for deployment purposes, dev for running it in dev mode, and seed for running the seed file, which we'll do in a bit. npm run, oh no, don't want that there. Here we go. npm run dev. Okay, looks like our server is working just fine. Wonderful. I'm gonna just turn that off for now. So now that I got my files up and running, cool, wonderful. So the next step is going to be using seeding my database. Well, actually, first I need to make my model. So we're gonna make a puppy model. So I'm gonna make a new file called puppy.js, and I have to import model and schema. So const model schema equals require, and then the thing is that I could require mongoose, but I already have a mongoose that's being exported by this connection file. Because right here what we do is we connect to Mongo. After I'm done connecting to Mongo, I export Mongoose. So yeah, this is an already connected version of Mongoose. So I'm going to use that. So /db/connection. Okay, so that's there. That should be all that I need. Then I'm going to create my schema. And that's going to be const puppy schema equals new schema. And I'm going to want the timestamps just because I like having the timestamps. So timestamps true. And then for the puppy, we're just going to keep it really simple. Every puppy has a picture. So image, which is a string, it'll just be the URL of the image. And then every puppy has a likes, which is a number. And actually, let me do it this way. Type, so it's a type of number. It's a number, but I want a default value of 0. So every puppy starts with 0 likes. Okay, and that's it. That's all this website's going to do. It's going to have a bunch of pictures of puppies that you can like, and then when you hit like, it increases the number of likes for that dog. That's what we're going to build. Okie dokie. Now that I have a schema, I got to create the model. Create a model. So const puppy equals model puppy, and this will be puppy schema. So this creates our model object that we can use to interact with our database. And then I'm going to export the puppy model. Module.exports equals puppy. Cool. So that's all set. That's all that needs to be done there. Okay, and then what I am going to do is seed. I want to make sure that there's already some puppies to begin with. So let me move this terminal out of the way. I don't need this so much right now. So here's my seed file. Okay, so kind of all sketched out for you so that way you know exactly what to do. So here I'm going to import my model. So const puppy equals require. I'm bringing in the puppy. // models slash puppy. So that brings in the puppy model. And then here's a function that I can write all my puppy adding code, and then it runs that function. So basically what I have to do is put my code right where it says code goes here. Okie dokie. And cool. So I'm just gonna say puppy dot create, and I want to say const puppies equals await. Okay. Await puppy dot create, and then we're going to pass an array of puppies. Okay, and basically we can pass an array of objects to the create function of our mongoose models, and I just pass an object with all the right properties. So in this case, puppies have two properties. They have images, which is a string, and the number, when the number is going to default to 0 anyway. So really I just got to pass in the image. So I'm going to make 5, let's make 6 puppies. So let me just copy this 6 times. Oops. Let me copy the opening curly bracket. One, two, three, and yeah. Got it. So now that's there. Let's go get some puppy pictures. Images.google.com. Puppy. Okay. So we got some adorable puppy pictures. So I'm going to just copy the image address. Just put that right there. Let's do this Dalmatian puppy. Let's do this black lab. Copy image address. Let's do that husky there. Okay. Yeah, we'll take you. Copy that there. And then copy image address. And then I think we're good. That's all the puppies. So that's 7 puppies. Cool. And now here's a little thing. Like this seed should run fine. So like this should all work. So I'll do npm run seed. And actually what I want to do is console log the puppies first. So after the puppies are created, I want to console log the puppies so that way there's something in my terminal to show me that it worked. Because otherwise it's going to do the thing and just end, and I'm not going to know 100% sure that it did the thing. So that's why I wanted to save the puppies in a variable so that way I can console log it afterwards. Console log puppies. Cool. So then I have a script to run this file called npm run seed. It'll run this file one time just so that way it's seeded. Okay, let's take a look. And I see all the puppies got created. See, there's all these puppies with 0 likes and this image. And then, of course, Mongo gives them an ID. And then there's the timestamps, because we said timestamps true. And then it disconnected from Mongo. Nice. Now, sometimes people's things take longer to connect to Mongo than others. Okay, so if you ever do have a problem like where basically your seed is running before your Mongo connection comes up, a good way to make sure that certain code doesn't happen till your Mongo is connected is to use the events on Mongoose. So basically I could just wrap this seed mongoose.connection.on and then say .on open, meaning don't do this until the connection opens. And then I pass in an arrow function in here. And then any code I don't want to happen until Mongo opens, I can put in there. And then this will guarantee that the seed function doesn't run until the Mongo connection opens. Most of the time, I don't think you really need that, but sometimes you might. So, if you're having some errors where like your Mongo connection's taking forever and then it's causing an error, so this is one way to kind of solve that problem. Okay? By wrapping any code that depends on the connection in this open event. So that way, because this function here won't run until the connection opens. Okay? Just to make sure certain things don't happen at certain times. But again, you saw the seed ran just fine without it. Cool. So we've now seeded our database. Our database does have several puppies inside of it. So now we can begin building our project. Okay, so in this video, I'm just going to do the index route following the RESTful routes. Again, what's REST? REST is 7 different routes. We'll actually sketch them all out. We'll kind of sketch out sort of what will be needed, just kind of, and show you sort of a quick way to do that, so that way everything's kind of in place. Okay, so first thing, let's go to our server.js. Okay, here we have our home route. I'm going to leave that alone. All I care about is my puppies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a puppy controller. That's where we're going to put all our route handlers. So puppy.js. Okay. And then again, this is going to be where all our controller functions are. The only thing I need here is I need to import my model. I need to import my puppy model, because I'm going to be using it in these functions. So const puppy equals require // models / puppy. And then I'm going to have my my route function, or my controller functions. And here's the thing, here's an easy way to start to make a way to make life easy. Just sketch out all your functions ahead of time. Make them empty functions. That's fine. They don't have to be like doing anything yet. So what I'm going to do is just do like, here's going to be my index. And again, index is going to be the one that generates a page with all puppies. So const index equals, and just our normal express handler function signature, which is just always rec_res, this function that takes in rec and res, request and response. Okay, it's just an empty function right now. So right now it's just going to say res.send hello world, and then we'll come back and, or we'll just actually make it say index. Make all of these routes just say their name for now, just so that way. And again, there's 7 of these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll just sketch all these out. So this way it's just done. Okay, index. Then we'll have show. And show generates a page of 1 puppy. Okay, and then this should say show here. If I use the Alt key, I can hold Alt, click here, and click here, so that way I don't have to type so many times. I can just be like new. Oops. I can change it up here. Show. Okay. Oh, and I can't use the new keyword. That's right, so this is going to have to be like new puppy. Okay, generates a page of and then what this does, generates a page to create a puppy. So like a form. Okay. Then we'll do Alt, and then this will be create. This will be the route, creates a puppy, and redirects the index. So this is eventually what these functions will do. Right now they don't do that, they're just literally sending text. Okay, then I will do this one. This will be edit. This is going to generate a page to edit a puppy. Okay, then we have update, Oh, well, this updates a puppy and redirects to index. And then again, let me just change the name. Alt update. And then the last one is destroy. This one destroys a puppy. That sounds horrible. Okay. So, and then at the end here, I want to export my controller. So I want to send it out bundled as a object. So module.exports. So I'm exporting an empty object, and inside this object we'll ship out all our functions. So that's index show new. Well, we'll say new, but it's really new puppy. New, create, edit, update, destroy. So there we go. We have an object with our functions. The new puppy function got renamed as new in this function. I mean, in this object, and that's being shipped out. Cool. And again, right now I didn't actually build out the functions. They're just dummy functions that are sending dummy responses. But just this way, I don't have any errors saying the function doesn't exist because all the functions exist from the get-go. So then I'm going to go create a new router because I want to list all my routes in this router. So I'm going to create a puppy router, new file, puppy.js. Okay, and basically what we do is we're going to import router and controllers. So I'm creating a new router, which equals require express. I bring in the express. I'm just going to use its router constructor real quick. That gives me my new router, saves it in this variable. Good, I got that. And const my controller. So we'll call this my puppy controller equals require // controllers / puppy. And then we'll just sketch out my RESTful routes. Okay, so again, index, and index is always a get to / puppy in this case. Okay, so router dot get / puppy controller dot index. Okay, and then I'll just sketch this out 7 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and again, this is all going to work out because I did make sure that all 7 functions were in my controller, so I can set up all 7 routes in my router. So that way, in the next few videos, all we have to do is focus on is our controller and views. Okay, now for this case, generally I'm always going to put the show route at the very bottom. Okay, because the show route is a get request to puppy / ID, which does have a possibility of conflicting with some of the other routes. So to avoid that, we always put show on the bottom. So we run that show, and then I'm just going to make sure that it says :ID. And the reason I'm not writing /puppy is because we're going to connect this to server.js as a middleware, and there we're going to specify the /puppy part. So since I want to do that there, I don't need to do it here. Okay, so let me go back up here and go from there. So then here, this will be new. Okay, so I'll just use Alt again to save some time. New. And again, a new route is going to be a get to /puppy /new. That's going to be the new page. And then we're going to have create, which is going to be a post request to /puppy. So this changes to post. Okay, and then we're going to have, okay, next would be edit. You can tell I just literally woke up. Edit, put. Okay, and then, oh no, edit should be a get request. So get request to /puppy /id /edit. Okay, so in that case I have to make sure that route goes there, so /id /edit. Okay, puppy controller dot edit, good. And then we have the update route. That's the one that actually does the updating. So update, and that's going to be a put request. Oh, wait, this is a put request. This is a get request. There we go. And then this is a put request, just so that way all the comments of when I push this to GitHub, this all reads nice and accurate. Okay, and then we have our destroy route. That's our last one. Destroy, which is a delete request to a puppy specifying the ID number. So that's going to be :ID. And there you go. This is essentially the pattern. This is the end result. So essentially our router is all set up. And now all I have to do is connect that router to my main application in server.js. Because right now all we have in server.js is this one route that's just our main page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in my server.js, I'm going to import my router. And so const puppy router equals require dot slash, actually not dot slash routes slash puppy. There we go. So then I'm going to add this router to the list here. So I'm going to do app.use, and I'm going to say, hey, I want to use this router anytime a URL starts with /puppy. So that way all those routes that we just listed start with /puppy. So it's like /puppy /id /puppy /id /edit, that kind of thing. So whenever a URL starts with /puppy, we then use this puppy router. And there we go. Okay, so any URL that starts with /puppy will be sent to here for routing purposes. And now I never really need to touch this file again. Cool. So like I said, in this video we're going to do index, so let's now do that. But actually we're hitting the half-hour mark, so I'm actually going to save index for the next video. Okay, but here we've gotten everything set up, we've seeded our database, we've scaffolded out all our code. So really all we need to do now is just actually create the 7 RESTful routes. I'll see you in the next video where we'll do the index route.